Sounds like me smacking my lips after a good meal. How y'all doing? It is Friday night. Welcome to Friday, everybody, and welcome to the Paranormal Portal. I'm your host, Brent Thomas, and this is our journey into the unbelievable, unknown worlds that surround us. So, hope you guys are ready to dive into this. Thank God I'm not alone tonight. Of course, Don couldn't join us on Wednesday because, his real life happened. And that's the way things roll sometimes. But I am joined tonight by Sheldon Thomas. The big branch himself is here with me. So let's say good evening to Mr. Sheldon. How you doing, buddy?
Good evening and good nights all. Feeling good, feeling well. Doing good so far. It's a Friday, the end of the week. Time to relax and time to get spooky. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. You're sounding a little bit distant. Can you crank your volume anymore? Or?
Is that better?
Keep talking. You gave me two words.
It's at max.
It's at max? Okay.
It's at max.
Okay, I don't know. I'm using Zoom tonight, and we're just, testing it out again. I used it with Hometown Ghost Stories. It worked out really good. But are you guys hearing Sheldon okay? Just let me know. In the chats, if you would, please. Just want to know. I don't know what else. I mean, I'm pretty cranked here as well. I don't have much more volume I can.
Zoom is cranked to max as well.
Yours is? Okay.
Zoom settings are cranked to max as well, so I don't know.
Okay. Well, there you go. I guess.
Is that better?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. What'd you do?
Change the background noise suppression. I guess it's counting me as background.
You're our favorite background noise, Sheldon.
That's right.
All right. Well, good. Ladies and gentlemen, if you hadn't noticed, I just want to bring back to this screen. I fixed the sign. I did that throughout the day today. I had to tear it all down and disconnect everything, tear apart the sign, strip out the old lights, put in the new ones, and they got this cool little kind of flickery effect. I think it looks pretty good. So hope you guys like that. Thank you, Planet X. Ooh, coming in with $2. Thank you, brother. Appreciate that. Or sister. I don't know what Planet X is. Isn't that Nibiru?
Who knows?
Isn't that Nibiru where the Anunnaki live? All right. Well, thank you for the donation. That's really appreciated. We got to get to the news. We got some articles to get through. And just about as much as, it's kind of a spooky effect. You're right. Mano, you're absolutely right. A little bit spooky, like the flickering lights. I actually got a bunch of those simulated torchlight bulbs. I just don't have anywhere to put them in. So, I got to get some receptacles. And my idea is to make it look like a couple of torches alongside the, both sides of the background here. But, it's all a matter of evolution of sorts. So anyway, just excited that I got that light back up and working, because it looked really kind of silly having a big black box above my display in the background there. So now you can see what it says, the Paranormal Portal. So that's just a little me moment. Thanks for indulging me. So Sheldon,
yes,
are you feeling like you need some news?
I think I'm always feeling that way. Yeah.
Well, some of it might even be good news. So let's dive into that, ladies and gentlemen. It's time to news you up. Why am I looking so dark and you're looking so bright? You're looking so bright and lovely.
I'm just full of sunshine.
You are a ray of light, you little bastard. All right, let's get to the news, and we're going to see about bringing y'all up to speed in the workings of the world. And some of it's paranormal. Some of it's just darn interesting, and some of it's just funny, maybe. We'll see what I pulled up tonight. I'm not even sure. I did it a while ago, so let's find out just what I've curated for your benefit. All right. The first one tonight is coming from a site called unexplained-mysteries.com, and this is an amazing site. We've used it many times for actually quite a long time. I really still love this site. I've not gotten tired of it. They always do a hell of a job. So I guess I should do the intro first, shouldn't I? Ladies and gentlemen, time for the news. John Stevenson Trusts. Thank you, John. Hi, Vincent. Hi, Luna. Hi, Wizard. Hi, Karen. Good to see you guys. All right. Well, welcome to the Paranormal Portal News Desk. I'll be your anchor, Brent Thomas, and joined by my co-anchor tonight, Mr. Sheldon Thomas. And we're going to dive into the news.
If I can be the ship.
What? What?
You can be the anchor if I can be the ship.
Oh, you said that ended with a P. Never mind.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah, you make me. No, never mind.
okay.
All right, let's get to the news and find out just what's going on in the world around us. Ladies and gentlemen, the first story, again, unexplained-mysteries.com. Please support this site. Please visit them. Please give them some traffic and some love because these sites are, largely self-funded. And the more traffic you give them, the more revenue that creates due to ads that are embedded and such. And it's just a darn good site. I just really like this site. So I can't support it enough, and I hope you guys will do that. Here it is. The first article tonight is coming from the UFO phenomena segment. This is an eerie black ring-shaped formation filmed in the sky over Argentina. It seems to me this is not really new, but it's dated today. I don't know if there's another one, but I remember there was some scuttlebutt about these like smoke ring clouds just kind of being out there. And I don't know. That was a year or two ago, I thought. But anyway, let's see what it says. It says, as it turns out, this peculiar aerial phenomena actually has a conventional explanation. Swamp gas. It's always swamp gas. All right, captured on camera just last week from a farm in Argentina, Argentina's Tucumán province. This unnatural-looking black ring, which looks almost like a giant smoke ring, is certainly not something you see every day. The footage quickly attracted attention on social media where users were left scratching their heads. Some suggested that the ring was just smoke from some sort of fire, while others put forward the notion that the video showed evidence of an extraterrestrial spacecraft. In truth, however, there's a conventional explanation for this particular phenomena. Swamp gas. That's just going to keep being funny in my head, folks. I'm sorry. That's the way I work. The ring, as it turns out, is in fact a swarm of mosquitoes. Kill them with fire.
Oh,
Kill them
God.
with fire. Good God.
Oh, it's worse.
Jeez. If that's mosquitoes, every bug killer's dream is to have just a tight grouping of mosquitoes. If you could somehow napalm that, the nights would be so peaceful. Anyway, so it says if you look closely at the video below, you can see the insects milling around in large clouds beyond the actual ring formation. Similar mosquito swarms have prompted UFO reports in other parts of the world over the years, and it's believed that the insects fly in such formations as part of their mating rituals. God, I'm impressed because, so, and Sheldon, you're very aware of this because you grew up down there as well, but we grew up in a very rural area, or at least a large part of your life. You lived in a very rural area with me. And when you went outside during the summers, and this is a lakefront, and it's a lot of woods around and stuff, so the mosquitoes were just everywhere. It was like epidemic level. You'd go outside and you'd have 15 or 20 of them on you at any given moment. And it they just take turns just draining you dry. But you go outside at night, in the dead of night, and the sound outside was this. The billions of these little bastards up there hovering in the air, doing I suppose their mating rituals or whatever, or just, plotting the revenge, for the next day. I don't know. But the whole night sky would sing with their wings. And it's a creepy, creepy thing. Just like, God, there's so many of them. I can't kill that many. But I imagine if they just made these donut shapes in the sky and you could just lob napalm at them or something. that might be just a little slice of heaven for me. I'm not into killing anything, folks. Honest to God, I'm very much live and let live kind of person, except mosquitoes. I will kill those bastards on sight until the day I die. Mm-hmm. Those little vermin from the pits of hell. They have no business being alive at least in my proximity, and probably not yours either. There's nothing worse than getting just a track full or like a back full of mosquito bites, and you can't scratch them. And the ones you can scratch, you scratch until like there's holes in your skin. It's just like, I don't know what they're horrible.
Yeah, and the remedy for it is to not scratch it.
Yeah,
Oh my God!
And that's an exercise of like a I don't know, like a yogi from India. Just I will not scratch. It's like I can't help it. And then you do it in your sleep. You don't even know you're doing it, and you wake up with these huge sores all over your body, and they still itch for a while. And then if you scratch them, they burn like hell. It's just a nightmare. I hate those things. They are nightmare fuel.
Well, it's worse when there's one mysterious mosquito in your house somewhere. There's one mystery mosquito somewhere in there, but you can't find him. You just keep getting bit.
Or you're falling asleep and you're,
oh God.
And then it drifts away, and then it's like it's zeroing in on you. You know it's coming. You just don't know where it is. It's pitch black, and you're helpless. You're sitting there just a big meat bag waiting for it to sink its straw into you. Oh, those little bastards. I'm sorry. Yeah, they are so bad in Minnesota. You're absolutely right. That's where Sheldon is, but that's where I'm from, is Minnesota. Yes, they are bad. It's a land of 10,000 lakes and about 40 quadrillion mosquitoes. So that's a horrible...
10,000 breeding grounds for the mosquitoes.
Yeah, that's 10,000 fountains of life for those bastards. Yeah. Whatever the case, there you go. It's not UFOs, folks. It's a skeeter ring. Put a grenade right in the center of that thing. Just, yep. That's a whole generation that nobody would have to deal with again. I like it.
They are combating them though. They're modifying their genes in a way that they're little straw.
They're proboscis.
So many things.
Yeah.
Their little straws can't break our skin. I'm hoping for more of that.
Yeah, well, the problem, the thing is that then there will be probably no mosquitoes, because honestly, the only reason they usually eat the nectar of flowers, but when they breed, they need the protein, so they got to go get blood, and so that's the problem, is they need it for their eggs and stuff. But I don't know I'm not saying they all need to go, but just a lot of them do. I'm sure they're important to the food chain, however the hell that works, but. That scares me even more, the Franken-science. It's like, well, let's just make it so they can't stick their thing in you. It's like, okay. Yeah, what's the side effect of that? Like, acid spit or something? So just eat bleeding sores into you.
Routes,
yeah.
Evolution.
Yeah, they'll just evolve some other diabolical way. It's acid itching spit that they just spew on you like a housefly. Yeah.
Oh no! They go the fly route. Yeah.
Yeah. And then just suck up the sop, the soup. It's like, what the hell? Yeah, there's no good answer for this. Yeah, I missed you too, Aggravated Progressive. Good to see you back. So there you go, folks. It's mosquitoes. God, I love the warm months except for them. That's the one takeaway. That's the one minus. In my joy chart for different seasons, the one minus is mosquitoes.
They can go extinct. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. They can go extinct.
Something else will climb up the food chain to replace them. I don't know what that'll be, but it's probably like Russian crotch crickets or something like that. It's like, oh God, bring back the mosquitoes, hurry.
We're keeping them in balance, please.
I miss those damn mosquitoes. I'm going to be demonetized by the end of the night. Don't worry. So let's roll those super chats now, folks. Russian crotch crickets. Oh, my God. I don't know where I heard that from. It's some echo of my former part of my life. I know I heard it from somewhere. I just don't remember where. But it came out now with my slow personal filter, as it were. But anyway, that's the first one up tonight. God, folks, you realize you tuned in for this too. I'm so sorry.
Rachel's right. Dawn in spirit.
That's maybe what it is. I'm possessed by the spirit of Don. Jeez, that explains a lot, folks.
Dawn balances you out when he's not here. Yeah.
Yeah, no kidding. Creepyville. How you doing, Creepyville? Good to see you. All right, let's get to the next news story. It's got to be better than this one. Let's see what else I pulled up. Jesus, this is already a train wreck. All right, let's see how much further into the gutter we can make it before the end of the news. Make it a drinking game.
1877.
1877 came through the ghost radar, so I don't know what that means. Before that came 1747, so 2 dates. I guess.
There were 2 presences, too.
2 presences, 2 dates. I guess they're from different eras, maybe. they come in, it's like ASL. Like a bad internet chat room. I'm sorry. I've been chatting since like AOL days, and if that gives you any idea. It was actually on your Uncle Dave's computer that I chatted for the first time.
Really?
Yeah, really.
Wow.
Yep, he had AOL, and I was like, ooh, this is really cool. So,
We didn't.
oh, that's an ad. Never mind. All right, so the next article comes from unexplained-mysteries.com, and this is interesting. For those of you that are into Bigfoot, you might want to pay attention because looks like there's some new developments. This is from the World of Bizarre on unexplained-mysteries.com, and this article is Google's AI offers some strange advice on how to capture Bigfoot. You had me at capture Bigfoot. Okay, let's see what it says. So far, nobody's been able to prove Bigfoot exists, let alone capture one. So how would an AI approach the problem? With artificial intelligence slowly but surely becoming an increasingly significant part of our lives, it stands to reason that sooner or later, AI would be consulted in an effort to help solve some of the world's most prominent unsolved mysteries. In a recent piece on Bigfoot by the Daily Star, this is exactly what the authors did. The artificial intelligence consulted in this particular instance was Google's Bard AI, which was asked the somewhat tongue-in-cheek question of how one might go about capturing a Sasquatch. Let's see what AI says. The AI's response was bizarre, to put it mildly. To begin with, it suggested the prospective Bigfoot hunters employ elaborate displays with flashing lights, strange sounds, and irresistible scents to pique its curiosity and draw it out. Actually, that's been done many times, and to at least reasonable success. There's no doubt that these beings are pretty curious about us. So, and especially when you introduce something new that they may have never seen before. So, what the hell is that? So, I think you have to make yourself attractive to them to check out, because the prospect of actually sneaking up on them is about nil. So anyway, then it continues on. This was followed up by with the suggestion that a giant net be used to actually capture the animal, because the average Bigfoot is large enough to be caught in a giant net. Wow. It's like,
Wow, how cartoony.
I know. It's like, how about a big mousetrap? Google's Bard AI then decided it would be a good idea for the creature's kidnappers to dress up in elaborate Bigfoot costumes and attempt to infiltrate its community.
Yeah, oh my
There you
God,
go.
it's so cartoony.
Create life-size realistic Bigfoot suits and costumes to gain trust, it said. Suffice it to say, it's unlikely we'll have to worry about this particular AI taking over the world anytime soon. Right. Yeah. So it's like, how do I take over my town? Get beer. Maybe that's what the AI would suggest. Get beer. I'm just saying, if you drink, I don't know. It was, again, funny in my head. So I apologize in advance for all the stupid crap that comes out of my mouth throughout the course of a 2-hour live stream. I don't know. It's just, I don't have much filter. All right, so there you go. If you wanna find a Bigfoot, you got to lure him in with lights and elaborate displays. Then you got to dress up like a Bigfoot. And he's thinking of Bugs Bunny.
Yes.
You know, and then and then get a big net, because you're going to need that after you get him close enough. So you're welcome.
Why didn't we think of the net? No.
Wow. All this time, the net. Whoa. Yeah.
That was the secret.
It was the missing part. The net. Yeah, go figure. I mean, maybe it's feasible to hide a net easy enough that it could blend in with the surroundings enough that you could, set some kind of trap. But I don't know. These things are smart. These things are plenty smart. And, they, as much as we think something looks camouflaged, I'm sure to them it looks like, well, what the hell are they doing there?
Why'd you guys put the net down there?
Yeah, why'd you put the leaves over that net? That's so stupid. You think we wouldn't notice it? We live here. It's like somebody putting a net on your rug. It's like, yeah, that rug looks a little odd to me. This is the brain trust. Well, there you go. The AI obviously has a long way to go. We don't have to worry about Terminators anytime soon. If they did, they'd probably dress like people and carry nets.
Guess so.
I'll be back getting the net. All right, wait here. People are like, yeah, okay, I'll wait right here. All right, there you go, folks. That's the next article. Let's get to the next piece of news. I've got one more lined up for you folks for your viewing entertainment and pleasure. Hopefully both, but let's see what it is. Oh yeah, this is another UFO report. This one, this one doesn't surprise me a whole lot. I don't know the background of the image or anything like that. I can't speak to its authenticity, but it's being presented as this anyway. But this is from unexplained-mysteries.com from the UFO phenomena segments. It's Ukrainian soldiers capture footage of disc-shaped UFO over war zone. And allegedly, this is the image. It comes from at Ukraine Freedom News and at Frontier_conflict. And it says, the men who had been operating a reconnaissance drone spotted a wide, thin disc hovering in the distance. Well, it's certainly not surprising to see a aircraft in the skies over Ukraine these days, but this particular video, which has been doing the rounds on social media this week, shows no ordinary aircraft. The footage was filmed by soldiers in the 406th Battalion in the Ukraine Armed Forces through the thermal camera of a DJI brand Mavic 3T quadcopter reconnaissance drone. In the background, the men can be heard discussing the object. I'm telling you, it's a UFO. It's standing still, one of them says. Zoom in more. It's standing still. Do you see? Can't see anything on the thermal cameras. Maybe ram it. Maybe ram it. Yeah. You want to be done with that drone anyway, right? As things stand, it remains unclear exactly where the footage was captured or what the object could be. Some online sleuths have suggested it could be a fata morgana, a type of optical illusion that causes objects on the ground or ocean to appear to be floating in the sky. You can check out the clip for yourself below. What do you think it shows? Well, they said we could check it out. Let's check it out. Again, these kind of videos are not hard to fake, but let's check it out. I'm not saying it is fake, but I just think anytime you see evidence, you got to weigh it with skeptical eyes. Let's see what happens here. Okay, I don't speak Ukraine, so we're going to skip the language part and the sound. And there's, okay, so it doesn't appear to be that high off the ground with the drone. But yeah, it does look like it's just sitting there. Is he going? Was that just a bunch of zooming back and forth? Sheesh. Was that what that was? I mean, it was just zooming in, zooming out. Was that what all that was? Maybe.
Looks like it.
Yeah, it's just a really, really quick video. And there's not enough there to get really a feel for it. I mean, what do you do? I mean, you can't really say, well, yeah, I watched the whole segment. Well, the whole segment's like 5 seconds. So there's not really enough there to really get an idea of what they observed. If there's a longer video out there, that would be what I'd rather look at than this little short clip. Looks like a TikTok clipping kind of thing. But anyway.
Yeah.
I don't know. Could it be? Sure, it could be. I don't know. What's
Rachel says maybe it's mating mosquitoes. Oh, it's that dense. Oh, God.
Yeah. Yep. Then it should be some sort of like missile should be heading towards it then. Just get them out of the sky. I don't know if they have mosquitoes in Ukraine or not, but God. Maybe not now. I don't know what their weather's like either. I think they're in the same hemisphere as we are, basically. So probably the same seasons. But anyway, there you have it, folks. That was another fine example of the Paranormal Portal news featuring stories from unexplained-mysteries.com. So hope you enjoyed it. Hope you feel like that was a lot of fun and a good use of your time, because you're never getting that time back ever. It's gone. It's gone now. You blew it. So I hope you feel it was a good investment. All right. So I guess with that, we'll wrap up the news, and we'll get on to the rest of the stories and the rest of the show. Are you ready, Sheldon?
Always ready.
All right. All right. Hang on. We're going out. Ooh, Cade? Cade Moya? What? Yeah, it's been a hot minute. Well, that's kind of good that Cade's here, because that brings up something that I shared with Cade. If you're not familiar with Cade Moya, ladies and gentlemen, Cade is our wonderful friend from Australia. You got to say it like that. He is the creator and host of Believe podcast, and it's a great show. Cade's been a guest on the Paranormal Portal many times. Hasn't invited me back for a while to be on the Believe podcast, but yeah, I'm sure it'll come. I'm sure he just slipped his mind. I'm sure. But he and I are regularly in contact, and I love the guy, and we've been great friends actually for years and years. And so, well, I sent him a video. What did he say tonight? Actually, what? Coming on the stream. Came on the stream, Brent. Yeah. What's the next night shift? Tonight. Oh, okay. You guys are doing a call-in show tonight? Is that what that is, or just a late show? Fantastic. But if you want to check out another wonderful show, and I'm here to tell you, folks, Cade does the shows exceptionally well. The sound is absolutely impeccable. He is right up there with the top podcast out there, with his sound quality and his production value. The guy is a whiz, and his shows are incredibly entertaining. The discussions are robust and welcome anytime. Well, yeah, but what do you want me to do? Knock on your windows? I need an invitation. No, just kidding. I'm just razzing you, brother. But I do correspond with Cade regularly. It's been a while, though. We've both been very busy. But I did send him something, and I want to share it with you guys, at least a segment of it. This is an actual site organization in Australia, and I don't know what to make of this. Let me just see what I got on screen here. Okay, good. I just got to get it all positioned before I put it on. But this is some apparently night vision trail camera footage from Western Victoria in 2008. Oftentimes on the show we've talked about the thylacines, the tigers, the marsupial tigers of Australia and Tasmania and such, that seem to have gone extinct. They thought the last one probably died in captivity in the 1920s or something like that in a zoo due to some mistake allegedly or accident with not turning the heat on or whatever, and the thing froze. But people have been citing these thylacines for years and years and years. Their reports are not abundant, but they do come in. Now, I actually, oddly enough, watched kind of a I think it was Joe Rogan's documentary, or maybe it was another one, but a guy was, no, it was the guy that appears on Joe Rogan very often. And he's a former host of a I think Travel Channel or something, or the Animal Planet channel, which is no longer a thing. Apparently Animal Planet is no longer a channel, but he would host a show on there dealing with, you know, wildlife around the world, and an exceptionally neat guy. He's seems to do an incredible job, and he's very fun to watch and very engaging. But he did a show on thylacines, and one thing he brought up is that if there are dingo in an area, there won't be thylacines, because the dingoes will outcompete the thylacines for game and stuff, and eventually will probably kill the thylacines once the game runs down and gets less plentiful in an area. And so the thylacines have grown to avoid any area that might have dingoes in it. And I thought that was really interesting. I never would have thought of that, but he says that as far as predators go, the dingo is much more successful than the thylacine, but the thylacines, you know, are wonderful. Anyway, there's a lot of pushback on that. No, they're not around. It's just people mistaking one animal for another. But this I thought was absolutely fascinating, because this channel is called the Thylacine Awareness Group of Australia, and TAS Incorporated. So Thylacine Awareness Group of Australia, TAS Inc. And they actually caught some video, or were presented with video from somebody who caught it in 2008. I'm going to show you some of that right now, and you can be the judge. But I don't know a lot about the natural fauna in Australia, other than the major things like kangaroos and, you know, and I don't know what else is there. It's alligators. Anyway, and everything wants to kill you. But the thylacines look very, very distinct. There's nothing else over there outside of a dingo, maybe, that may look somewhat similar. But watch the video and you tell me what you're seeing, because I think they're right. I think they've caught footage of a thylacine. Again, this is me on the outside looking in without very much knowledge on the subject. But anyway, I'm presenting it to you now. This is what I sent to Cade, because I think this might be something. So let's check it out.
The first one.
Let me just do that. So there it is. And you can see, I mean, that looks like a thylacine. Got that long tail. And it's, again, this is not a canid animal. It's a marsupial. So it almost looks like something's wrong with that leg, though. It's kind of like it's hopping on that front, like it's not really running on that leg. So I don't know what happened, if it got hit in a trap or something, but that, if that's the case, that's very sad. But I think it might be something. Maybe it hurt its foot right there, because it seems to be running on 2 feet there, but soon after it does seem to be favoring that right front leg up in the air without putting pressure on it. So I don't know what you guys think. I don't think we're going to watch these ads. Thank you very much. But anyway, so I think it very well could be. If it is, maybe it's not full grown. I don't know how big they get as far as, but you know, it doesn't seem to be much taller than the weeds that it's in. At least these taller ones. I don't know what size those are, though. But I'm really kind of sold that could really be a thylacine from 2008. So I wanted to share it with you guys, because I think that's amazing. We've talked to a couple people throughout the history of the show. One of them is Dean Harrison, who swears, and Dean Harrison is from Australia Yowie Research, and he swears that he was right next to one. And in the story, I'm going to paraphrase Dean's story a little bit, but Dean tells the story when he's hunting this specific Bigfoot, I think in the Blue Mountains, and he's kind of on this trail that the thing is often observed coming down, or, you know, they found tracks and so he's kind of up there in the night, and he's just sitting quietly, no lights on, and he's just standing there, or kind of crouched down along the path that is believed this thing comes down the mountain towards the houses where it was appearing regularly. Well, he's sitting there, and he's like, suddenly he hears something walking in the brush, but it's quadrupedal, and it's coming closer and closer, and he's like, well, what the hell's that? And then he says he's there, and all of a sudden this dog thing comes out of the weeds, and he can't really see it, but it comes up and it's like sniffing around him and stuff. And he said he like quick flashed his light on. Was like, shit, go away. Because he was there to look for Bigfoot. And he's like, something about it just seemed really familiar, but I didn't really put my finger on it at the time. But he said it was after a while. I was like, after it left, he's like, oh my God, that was a thylacine.
Yep.
So it actually came out, and any chance you could post it in the Paranormal Portal Discord? Why, yes, Maggie, for you I can. I can definitely do that for you.
Good idea.
Yeah, it is a good idea. Let's copy this link. I don't even know if I have the Discord open. I know I shut it down earlier. Maybe if I put it and mail it to you, Sheldon. Can I do that? Because
Yep.
I don't want to load
absolutely.
up Discord right now. Here we go. Let's go to, what the hell? I got to expand this window. All the things I do for love. I could have just put the link in the chat, couldn't I? That was stupid. All right. Well, I'll do this. I've already started, so I'll just call it link and paste it in there. All right. Sheldon's going to put it up in the Discord. Oh, I found another paranormal portal out there. That's not me. It's like,
Uh-oh.
yeah, I found it on TuneIn. I was and this is kind of a side note, but I was on TuneIn just because I was checking on a different show, and I was like, oh, I wonder how, we're looking here. He's got a show on Discovery Channel. Okay, thank you, Chucky. I don't know if we're talking about that same guy, but yeah. But with all the other Paranormal Portal, yeah, I was like, I was just wondering, how we're represented on TuneIn, because I've never checked every platform, and so I go over to TuneIn and I type in Paranormal Portal. My show, which is called the Paranormal Portal, which is trademarked, is represented on TuneIn as what the hell? I got to look at the email, because they emailed me back. All right, let me see what it was called. Their show, they had my show represented as Radio Arcady. I'm like, what the hell is this? And then right under my, I made top listing because I searched for Paranormal Portal, and they use the logo with the dark forest with the Paranormal Portal on it, and then right under me is a show called Paranormal Portal. I'm like, well, that's not me, and I look, and it's some lady who and God bless her. I don't know her, and maybe it was an honest mistake or whatever, but she's doing stories. She's done 4 stories, but not since 2019. All 4 of them were in October of 2019. And she's like, and then there was a sound. And then they weren't sure what to do. It's like, there's a lot of breathing. And I'm like, yeah, that's definitely not me.
No.
So, yeah, I did. I did. I reached out to TuneIn, and I'm like, wait a minute. I got like diarrhea fingers on my keyboard. I'm like, so I was, I had to get that rectified. All right. They did respond already, which is great. Oh, you brats. They gave me, so I reached out to support at TuneIn, and they gave me another address that I have to send it to. Oh, you can't forward it? What the hell's wrong with you people? Anyway.
Yeah, come on. It's like, oh, send that exact thing to this instead of just clicking the forward button, paste, and go.
Yeah, I know. Well, anyway, I wanted to share that Thylacine video with you guys because that to me is exciting. I had not seen that. And since that's been around since 2008, it's like, my God, where's that been hiding? I haven't visited the whole group there, the Thylacine Awareness Project, but I'd like to go over and check out their YouTube channel to see what else they got posted. I'm sure there's images that are probably been captured. I have Hulu Live. The snap of plastic. Tommy Cooper's in the house. Get out of town. Tommy Cooper, Cade Moya. I mean, it's like a who's who in the paranormal here lately, folks. Tommy Cooper, of course, is he and Jason Trost have Cryptovania, which is an amazing show in and of itself. And yeah, Tasmania is paranormal. Yeah, I believe it, Philip. I've never been. That's on my bucket list to go to Oz and visit all you guys over there. I'm going to come right to your house. So just have the Forsters ready, because the Forsters is Australian for beer. That's not a popular beer over there at all,
Oh.
Sheldon. I'm probably going to get things thrown at me when I get in range. Here's your Foster's, you bastard. I should put that video on Cryptic Files. Yeah, really. Yeah, definitely, Cade. I think it's interesting. I don't know much about what's going on over there, but I think they're out there. I think the Thylacines are out there. So that's kind of a breaking news story, folks. I stumbled on it.
Plus, like whenever something's classified as extinct, it's just extinct as far as we know.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean it's literally rid of this world and there's literally none left. You know, there could be some in remote areas. Who
Maybe
knows?
they just meant it needed a bath. It stinked.
Oh God, I get it. Oh,
Come on. That's a low hanging fruit right there, buddy.
Oh.
Right out of 5th grade.
It's only funny if I say it.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks. It stinked.
Yep, gotcha.
I had to repeat it again because that cracks me up. All right, and I'm usually alone with that, folks. I'm usually the only one laughing at my jokes. But anyway, Fluffy says he ordered a Foster's when he went to Australia, and it did not go over well. Oh my God! And I'd like to have a Foster's. I think you can buy those in the U.S. too. I don't know. I don't visit liquor stores that often, but you know what you got to try, Sheldon?
What's that?
I tried this like it's a sipping liqueur. It's really sweet, but it kind of tastes like peanut butter. It's called Screwball. It's like a whiskey but the whiskey, it's a sipping whiskey and it tastes like freaking peanut butter. This stuff's like tongue crack. I'm like, oh no, I want more. All of a sudden, you're going to pour me into the seat of the car and bring me home.
Oh.
Sheldon, it's called extirpated, or we couldn't find any when we looked. Extirpated.
Extirpated?
Yeah. That's what Manul Annie is saying.
Okay.
That's a big word. I'm surprised I could even read it, but there you go, folks. That's the kind of entertainment you're getting here.
Extirpated.
Extirpated.
Okay. So
All
that's
right.
good. Yeah. So they're out there.
They are
Somewhere.
out there. Somewhere they're out there, folks. All right, now, last show we talked about some Glimmer Man, and I kind of gave you guys a poll. I said, look, if you want me to continue talking about Glimmer Man, because I got another article pulled up. Do you want me to continue this, or do you want to go over to the other cryptids? And it was pretty tied, really. I think there was a few more that was like, let's go to the Bigfoot and other stories. And Bigfoot stories are always amazing. And it could, just because of the sheer number of people that have experiences. I think of all of the cryptids, Bigfoot is the most common that people encounter, or at least they think it's Bigfoot. There's some that would argue that, well, maybe they're not actually seeing a Bigfoot. Maybe it's a dog man. And you could be right. I mean, it's hard to know unless you really are able to lay eyes on something to know exactly what it is. Because, sometimes the behaviors between a dogman and a Bigfoot allegedly are not really that different. A lot of breaking trees and, growls and things like that. And both are common in Bigfoot, so as well as Dogman. But I will say that the Dogman generally is. Oh, Glimmer Man is Bigfoot, SoCal says. I don't think so. But I think that there's something that's not quite here. They're somehow out of phase. But that's my opinion. Not that I'm right. I mean, hell.
So you're gonna have to refresh me. What is
Glimmer Man is like about a normal human-sized being, but they're reminiscent of the Predator movies. When he's invisible.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
right.
those are referred to as Glimmer Man. Saw the glimmer a few times, John says. Huh. Maybe it's a Bigfoot man. I mean, here's the thing. I don't know if I don't know. It's hard for me to wrap my head around the idea that, these Bigfoots can just disappear. But I've talked to enough people that have seen that I can't discount what they're saying. I just don't know how to logically process that. So I get stuck on that. To me, Bigfoot is maybe something not quite in this world, but I don't really understand what that means. Now, they don't all start out at 10 feet tall and, 1,200 pounds. They start out, small. And so it is a fair argument that maybe these Glimmer Men are just the younger ones that can cloak, as they, term it, and they can maybe just creep up close and just see what you're doing, because a lot of Glimmer Man sightings come from trees. People see them sitting among the branches up in trees. But they're not enormous. They're not like huge things. So could it be something like a juvenile Bigfoot? Maybe. But maybe it's something else completely. And I'm just saying, to me, it's because I've never heard of somebody seeing a big Glimmer Man. They're always about our size, but they're largely transparent, or at least they have a prismatic effect. Like it looks like they're distorting what's behind them in almost a prismatic effect. So either it's a technology, or it's just that they're able to get out of phase with our frequency of reality, or something like that, where they're present and they're displacing matter, but not enough present to be reflecting light back to us. So that, it's like they're not quite here enough to reflect light, but they're here enough to displace air and, particles and moisture and stuff like that. And maybe that's what gives us this prismatic effect. I don't know. It's just a theory, but it's as good as I got. Do they feed on human flesh? Not that I know of. I don't know that they do. Largely people just see them and notice that they're watching. And it seems if they were preying on people, that there would be less witnesses and more missing people. Because, these things are climbing up in trees. They're invisible. How could you, just physically speaking, I'm sure they're more adept than we are in the natural order of things. But with the fact that they're also nearly impossible to really get a bead on or see, then you're at double disadvantage. You're already outclassed physically and with speed and agility, and you're outclassed because you can't really see it. You might see the distortion in front of you, but you might miss the distorted arm coming with the claws or whatever. So I'm sure that if they wanted to prey on us, we would be very easy prey. Yeah. So I wonder about thermals, though. I wonder if people can catch them on thermals. Is there actually a temperature distinction to them in the surrounding air? I don't know about that. I don't know. Need a good historian. Get that puzzle.
What if the Glimmer Man is something else, like aliens just watching us?
It could be. It could be alien. It could be transdimensional. It could be spiritual. It could be cryptid. There's just no idea. Although the other thing is people see these transparent things, but they also hear that clicking noise, like in Predator, oddly enough, which is funny. Now, I remember last show I put it out there. If anybody wants to look into it, see if there's sightings that predate the Predator movies, because what if it's some kind of thought form or tulpa or something that's been kind of projected into our world because people saw the movies and just get emotionally invested,
Or one of the writers of the Predator script had a sighting himself.
Maybe. What's that? Yeah. What's that? I saw something I can't explain. Let's write a script. Could be. I don't know that much about it. But anyway, this is an article that I got from, this is a news site that I've stumbled onto. And I'm really excited to have discovered this, because I always love discovering new sites with, postings and stuff. And this site is created and operated by, I got to go down to the bottom because I did look at that earlier. And her name is Lyra Radford, Lyra Radford. That's writer, researcher, and creator of Unsettling Things. Favorite topics of exploration include the paranormal, fringe science, psychology, spirituality, folklore, and history. So sounds like it's going to, it's a site that's going to be a blast. And I might reach out to her and see if she would be interested in coming on the show as well, either as a guest here on YouTube or on the podcast, or both. Because, it's fun to talk to these people that have been archiving this stuff for a long time, much like Lon. Having Lon on the show is always a blast because, he's been at it forever. So let's get to the site. Again, Unsettling Things is the site. And this is dealing with the Glimmer Man. So let's get into these Glimmer Man stories. So Glimmer Man encounter stories. Are they aliens, spirits, cryptids, interdimensional beings? Yeah, great questions. Find out on unsettlingthings.com. Yeah, so definitely support the site. Check it out, folks. But I'm going to be reaching out to Lyra or Lyra. I don't know how you pronounce that, if it's Lyra or Lyra, but it's a cool name. I think that's really neat. All right, so this is from March 7th, 2023, so almost a year ago. It says, let's go right to the stories because we already kind of did some background. She does say that reports of Glimmer Man sightings are relatively rare, but seem to be increasing lately. And that could be due to the fact that maybe something like that would have been easily dismissed as just I don't know, blurry vision or something. Like I saw something. It's like something was in my eye or something. It was really strange, and they just dismiss it. But now that there's a term for it, and there's a description for it that other people have seen and reported, so then maybe it's not just this. Oh, wait, maybe I really did see something weird, and so it becomes more likely to be reported because there's kind of a fundamental understanding of something being out there that's largely transparent and clicks. I guess clicks makes clicking noises. So all right. So this first one is a Glimmer Man. Oh, geez. Yeah, I sound like I'm gurgling frogs here. A Glimmer Man visited this Illinois woman twice. A woman from Illinois shared her 2-time encounter. Wait a minute. I think we read this one. It's been lately edited. I think this is, yeah, we read this one on the other article. The other article we read was just this one. So the next one is, I think I saw a Glimmer Man. And this one is posted by Odin's Raven 1976, which is, I'm sure, a Reddit name, yeah. Last night, February 19th, I was standing at my back door getting fresh air. And it was raining, and I just stood for about an hour. Around 1:30 a.m., I noticed the sound and atmosphere changed. It went completely silent. And when I just got the feeling to look to my right, and I saw 2 bright white eyes. And they disappeared quickly, almost as soon as I saw them. The more I looked in that direction, the more I could make out the outline of a human-like figure. But I could see through it, and I watched it move slowly across my garden. Well, I lost track of it, but then heard 3 thumps, but not loud thumps, as it climbed the fence and left. It gave me no weird feelings or fear. It was if it just came to have a look at me, and then it left. I'm 46 and never seen anything like this. This was in Scotland. That's really interesting. And that's very similar to many reports. People like see them, and it's like another story that I remember reading before. This is maybe a year or two ago. But there was a couple that was hearing noises in their backyard. And it was dark, and they lived out in kind of the country. But they had a pretty nice lawn. And so they went outside of their house with flashlights, and they're kind of shining around to look. And then they shined just when the edge of the flashlight was at a certain position, they could see this humanoid form and the light being dispersed weirdly. And they were like, what in the hell is that? And they tried to act like they didn't see it, but they did see it. So they kind of played dumb, and they just kept sweeping their flashlights back and forth. And this thing obviously didn't think that it could see them, so it kind of stood there and was looking at them, kind of, looking around, and then it would shuffle a little bit to the side and look. And they just kept walking around, but they said it never made any aggressive motions toward them. But it seemed clear to them that it didn't realize that their flashlight was making it at least somewhat visible. And so they were able to keep an eye on it as they were outside, and they kind of went back towards the house, to the safety of the house. But they just kept sweeping their lights and watched it as it walked slowly across the yard, still checking them out and looking around, and then it was just out of sight. So they seem like largely very benign encounters. Like, they're not aggressive, and people don't get that primal fear that they get with a lot of cryptids. It's like, when a dogman is near, there's this horrible feeling overcomes people, like, or a Bigfoot. And it's just like, oh, and maybe it's a genetic memory of some kind, like, from when our, ancient ancestors were battling for the good ground with the different, humanoids or hominids. And, I guess we won because, we're everywhere now. But, there might have been times where, we were in deep battle with these things. And so maybe that's a genetic memory, like we can sense when they're around. I don't know. But I think that's a cool story. And it's kind of just a one-off. But what do you think of that, Sheldon?
Fascinating, actually.
Yeah.
And plus, I'm fascinated that, like, even when some of these people notice it, they don't get that fear response because, especially humans, we tend to fear what we don't understand.
Yeah.
So it's actually surprising that there's not a fear response to these kind of things.
Right. I don't know if I saw, white eyes. I guess, honestly, I can kind of understand where they're coming from because when I've done paranormal investigations and stuff, I can generally, you can feel when the air shifts, when something changes. But I still have never, and knock on wood, but I've never had a fear response. It's never been like, okay, this is getting a little uncomfortable. Let's get the hell out of here. Never had that. Even when I was walking around a cemetery one night with a friend of mine, it was, the air shifted. It did get kind of, that heaviness in the air, but I still didn't have that fear response. It was just like, I think something's here. And it just, so maybe it's kind of a similar thing that I think the reason I didn't get the fear response and haven't is because I really, during investigations, I don't think I've encountered anything really dark and evil that's just like, I hate the living, that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. I think they're just presences that are in locations. And so maybe it's very similar to this. It's like, maybe that's our sixth sense that everybody has. I mean, everybody, if you're listening to the sound of my voice, you've had a time in your life, I'm pretty confident at least that, 99% of you have, that you just went somewhere and you're like, I don't feel good here. I don't like it here. I want to get out of here. And I've had that experience many times. And especially, when I worked corrections, there were times where you'd walk into a building and go, oh, something's not right. Something is just not right. And you can't intellectualize it. It's just absolutely intuition. And It just hits you. And it's like, oh, and you respond in kind, you crank up, you put your head on a swivel and if you're in a place that is not good and you can leave, then, leave, get out. But I think that that's ingrained in us that, we can a lot of times, if we're paying attention, detect danger. And maybe the takeaway is that these things aren't really trying to be dangerous. They're just curious or just observing. So maybe it does speak more to the UFO kind of thing.
Yeah. No, that could be.
Have you experienced that, Sheldon, where you just felt like, no, this is not good?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
He said laughingly.
Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there was a time in the past, I don't know, maybe it was the past year, maybe it's been over a year now.
Uh-huh.
I walk into my living room, over here and just feel that dark feeling like, oh God, even just like spiritual entity wise.
Yeah.
Like something's here and it doesn't like me.
Yeah. I know what you mean. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I think that's powerful stuff. Okay, let's go to the next one. This is a Glimmer Man sighting back in the year 2000, late 2000. So that goes back quite a ways, but still not before the Predator movie. And this is posted by Istrotha0975. Back in 2000, I was in the Air Force as a security police augmentee. I don't even know what that means. It sounds like some kind of cyborg. I've been augmented.
RoboCop. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. There was a shortage of security police, and I was made into a temporary security police officer at a base in the southwest U.S. I was patrolling the National Guard side of the base with another airman when we saw that the lights were on in an office building we had just passed moments before, and the lights were off. Well, we went inside, and there was a long hallway, and out of one of the rooms, a big invisible predator-like creature came out and started moving rapidly towards us. The airman ahead of me by about 10 feet moved over and made himself flat against the wall as it passed him. This thing was coming right at me, and I froze. The airman yelled, "Get out of the way!" And I did at the last second. I saw this thing move past me rapidly, and there was a strong gust of wind behind it after him, after he passed me. It just disappeared about 2 feet past me. Whenever I tell someone, they don't even believe me. I'm glad there are other people in this world that have seen something similar, and I'm not crazy. Yeah, that's got to be absolutely terrifying.
So close to making first contact.
Yeah,
You should have just
Except-
stayed frozen.
that contact would have been like a big shoulder in your rib cage or something. But
I'll take it.
You
I'll
would,
be
yeah.
stepping the first.
you taking one for the team?
I
Well,
would.
Yeah, I'll bet you would. Well, there you go. Sheldon, what did it feel like to get slammed into the wall by that weird entity? Oh, it was great.
Awesome.
Man. Awesome.
Now
All right.
I'm the first.
Yeah, you well, unfortunately not in that case. A lot of people have been thrown in not a lot, but it has happened.
They're fakers.
They might be. They could be. I mean, I wasn't there, but I just hear the reports. Here we go. Glimmer Man in the bedroom. That's not where you want him.
No. Whoa. No.
I usually get dinner first.
Oh God.
All right, so let's see what this one says. This is posted by Comprehensive Row 3402. In my second floor condo in San Diego several years back, I was reading in bed and looked up to see a very tall, 6 to 7 foot, lanky man made out of a heat mirage. He looked like the rest of the room, but was solid enough to make out his form. I looked up to see him at the foot of my bed, and he walked up the side of my bed, over to the bookcase at the head of the bed, knocked twice, and was gone. His arms seemed to swing in slow motion as he walked. It lasted about 10 to 15 seconds, which felt like forever, but was also over so fast I could barely react in my shock. It made no sense to me whatsoever. Why'd he even be there? He didn't have any kind of evil feeling to him, like other entities I've encountered. Near where I live, there's a cave fenced off with security. It's also near a murder scene. San Diego is on the 33rd parallel, and it seems like a hotspot for general weirdness. I had paranormal experiences, at least 20, in 2 of the 4 houses I lived in there. Each different from the others, which was frustrating. No rhyme or reason, only one Glimmer Man experience. Wow, that's weird. It just came up to knock on the bookcase and leave. Like, yep, I'm here.
They're just watchers, it seems like. They don't really interact with you. They just sit there and observe.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what steers me more towards the extraterrestrial, or at least transdimensional kind of thing. Because, I mean, if they were always here, what would they... I'm going to watch someone read in bed because I've never seen that before. It's like, yeah, that happens all the time around here. So I don't know. I guess if you weren't from here, then maybe that would be revolution. Like, what is that person holding while they're laying here, covered in blankets? What's going on? Is this some kind of ritual?
It's a hot take. What if they're time travelers?
Yeah, well, what if? Wow, that's a book. We don't have those anymore. You never know. All right.
No.
Translucent entity in my bedroom. This is another Glimmer Man story. This is posted by DE_R3. It's basically spelling resistance with a 3 for the RE. 2 nights ago, I woke up in my bed feeling like there was someone in my room watching me. Here you go again. Creepers. I checked my house alarm system and everything was normal, so I just figured it was my imagination. I laid back down facing the other side of the bedroom when I saw a translucent figure of a person standing next to my bed facing me. That's so creepy. I can best describe it as the way the predator looked with the shimmering nature to it. While I didn't feel like it intended to harm me, I was freaked out, so as lame as this sounds, I grabbed my pillow and threw it towards the entity, and at that point, it was just gone. In a conversation tonight with a friend, I told him this, and he told me about Glimmer Man and this sub, which I've never heard about before. It's crazy to read that so many have seen something that they described exactly as what I saw. I'm still processing it, but wanted to share it here. Now, the one thing we're not hearing is the clicking noise, which came up in both accounts yesterday in that one person's story. That one person had 2 stories, and it was, the first story on this one, as it turned out as well. So they don't seem to be making that clicking sound. So I don't know. Here's a sighting in Tasmania for those of you down in Oz. All right. This is by Marauding Dash Thunderer. When I was a teenager, a group of friends and I would hang out in my bestie's house in the coastal community of Badges Head, Tasmania. His mother just had started dating one of our 4 neighbors. Oh, okay, gotcha. She moved in with him and left us teens to live in the house she was no longer using. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, rock on. Get the Forsters. I'm just saying that because I know the adults don't like Fosters, but I'm sure the kids will drink any kind of fermented piss they can get their hands on, I mean, honestly, the things we drank when I was a kid, it's just like, oh my God. There was a drink called Malt Duck, and it tastes like grape juice with a fizz to it, but it's horrible. It's horrible.
Gut rot?
It's horrible when you puke it back up. I'm just going to say that. Yeah. It's absolutely horrible. It's called Malt Duck. It's the first time I was ever really wasted in my life, and it's the first time that I actually puked from being wasted, and it was a horrible experience. Stuff was coming up my nose and all kinds of places.
Yeah, I remember that feeling. Ugh.
Oh, really? I didn't know about this. What?
So anyway, let's
move along.
What are we reading?
Bad parenting moment, apparently. Must have been with your mother.
Oh no!
Oh, I didn't say that, did I? I'm only teasing. Kids will always be kids. Doesn't matter what generation. All right, so it says so she moved in, was no longer using. We'd surf every day and maybe do some wood cutting for beer money and spend the evenings just chilling. We'd maybe broken an axe. I can't remember why it was so short, but we decided it'd be fun to practice throwing it at a nearby pine tree. Well, after a while, we all settled down on the pine needles in front of the house to hang out. It was about 10 o'clock p.m. in this small community, and there was a single street light. It was an otherwise pitch black bush setting. This lamp shone down on the coarse gravel road in a conical beam. As I watched moths fly in and out of the beam, I noticed a tall figure standing just inside the light. It looked like a featureless humanoid, but was transparent, like the maximum decay of a floating soap bubble just before it pops, thin, barely perceptible. In fact, if it were in the dark, I'd have seen nothing at all. I crouched behind the pine needle bank to hide from it. The guys did the same, having not seen it yet, and they were asking what I had seen. Well, I pointed it out. In a scared, frustrated tone, I hissed, "There!" Well, they finally saw it. The figure must have become startled. It moved, kicking a large rock towards us, and we all rushed inside, freaking out. The next day, we saw where the stone had nested into the ground, still wet and dirty halfway up. Trying to dislodge another such stone proved difficult. What's more, we found a large 3-toed footprints in the softer, loose sand. Well, that's interesting. That's the first print I've ever heard attributed to these.
3-toed.
3-toed. Funny thing was, having learned how to see them, I could make them out all the time. We asked Judy's boyfriend about it, a long-term local, and he told us that he saw UFOs in the area pretty regularly. I've seen the entities all along the Tamar River. Wow. So apparently 3-toed. Yeah, maybe alien. Or lizard people. Maybe they're like geckos.
I mean, you never know.
You never know. They got tongues like geckos, is what I heard. All right, so that's an interesting one. I'd not heard that before. So 3-toed print, possibly. Add that to my mental chalkboard of Glimmer Man now. It has been reported they have 3-toed prints.
Interesting.
All right, how much longer is this? Just a few more. We're almost there. Where the hell am I? All right. It was surprised is next, and this is by Lucky_Sky_1048. I was going out to start my car this morning and saw a blurry man. It was at least 6 feet tall. I stepped off the porch and he was looking in my car. It seemed like I was 4 feet from it, and you could see its feet imprinted in the grass. And I think I said, "What the hell?" or something. It turned its head, looked at me, I think, and ran across the yard. It was running really, really fast, like cartoonish almost. Just gone. Anyway, not a great story, but it freaked me out. And a friend of mine lived about a half mile from me, and he described the same thing to me a few years ago, except he chased it. He said it was way too fast. What the hell am I seeing? I guess it lives in the area. Huh.
Interesting.
Right? Like, I don't know. Maybe they get dropped off by the UFOs and they just are supposed to wander around and see what the hell people do.
Ooh.
I don't know. Maybe they're like scouts sent out
like drones, like even
Oh, I don't know. Maybe
automaton
Or-
kind of thing.
automatons.
Mm.
Could be. Next one is I just got chills. I can't tell you how relieved I am. Others have seen this too. This is by Spawn of Space. This person was on a trip visiting mom's friend and their kids in Lake Orion, Michigan. They were 13 years old at the time, and it was the 4th of July weekend. They were out late, and some of the kids decided to ding-dong ditch a few houses. After about 5 houses, they pressured the, Spawn of Space to participate. The target was a smaller white house. I walked up, and there was no doorbell, so I walked back, and they told me to just knock then. As someone who didn't want to kill the fun, I went back and knocked, only to find they'd already taken off running. After catching up with the others, they said a face was in the window. The face was notorious for being the house was notorious for being haunted. Spooked and exhausted, I looked behind me to see if there was anything scary following us, and I saw this figure that I've always described as looking like it was made out of water. A humanoid figure, translucent, that makes the background behind them wavy and has a defined outline. Well, I figured my mind was playing tricks on me and just kept walking, joking around with the others, looking back every so often. It was following us, and I could see it under the street lamps every so often. The leader kid who wanted to ding-dong ditch houses looked to see what I was looking at and exclaimed to his friends, "Do you see that?" and took off running. My friend looked back and took off running, and I was again left running after them. We ran all the way back to his house, probably 3 miles. No sign of it behind us anymore, but I've never been so shook or scared in my entire life. I was inconsolable. I was scared for a while that I would see it again and find out it had been following me the entire time. Well, it's been over 10 years now, and I've never seen anything like that again. I've never been able to find anything like it searching for hours on the internet until now. That's interesting. So I wonder if that's an apparition, though, or is that I don't know. Again, very strange.
Following him though seems intelligent.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. There's the big question mark is, let's say it is spiritual. Our spirits, if it's a haunted house, are spirits attached to the house? Like they can't leave it, or can they leave it and go wherever the hell they want and then come back? Or is it just a fluid thing for them where they like to be in the house? That's where they feel is a safe place for them, but they can wander, or are they tethered to the spot by some means or some trauma or whatever? And I don't know. That's the big question mark. Some entities don't seem to be able to go very far from the place they haunt. Like, and I don't even mean like, away from a house. I mean like away from an area of the house. Like there'll always be a presence in one specific area. Not always, but some stories sound like that. Like, well, you don't go over in that corner of the basement because that's where the creepy thing is. Well, why doesn't it leave that little space in the corner of the basement? Well, maybe it can't. I don't know. That's the big question mark. That's the big question.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, I think I had a Glimmer Man visit my house. How are we doing for time? Good God, it's already
Good.
6:21. I'm going to try to get through this article. We're just on the last few here. So this is posted by, oh, geez. This is posted by Cultural Issues 798. I saw what I described as a cloaked predator-like entity, or someone that appeared like those Magic Eye 3D illusions. It was made up of the background. It was sitting on a chair, but I could see its form. I saw it for a few seconds, and then it was gone. I didn't tell anyone in my family, as I didn't want to scare my children, or for my husband to think I'm nuts. Well, anyway, sometime later, my daughter said she had seen something that looks like someone in an invisibility cloak a couple of times. Our descriptions were very similar, but our descriptions came from different films. We had seen Predator, and for her, Harry Potter. Harry Potter? Harry Potter. Two T's. You only make one sound. Go figure.
That's right.
Why'd they waste that extra T?
I wasn't scared at all when I saw it. I thought it was quite exciting and cool, to be honest. I had a feeling it was more of interdimensional entity than anything ghostly or Bigfooted. I live in the UK in a town not near any woods. Yeah, that doesn't seem as likely to be a Bigfoot kind of thing, just by proximity. But, you know, there are urban reports of Bigfoot as well. Next one, saw a weird translucent or transparent figure in my yard. This is the last one. This is posted by Best Suggestion 0. Well, this happened about 2 to 3 years ago. I was standing on my porch with my brother-in-law. There was a light rain at the time, and we were watching the rain just talking. And then from a tree in my front yard, I saw something fall. It looked the way Predator looks in the movie when he's invisible, but it was small, like 2 to 3 feet tall. I could see through it, but could see that there was something that looked humanoid in shape from what I could tell. When it fell, it landed on its knees. Ow. And then it got up and ran towards the gate in my front yard. Not to the gate entrance, but the middle of it where it's just closed. After it went toward the gate, I don't know if it just disappeared or went through it, but I just didn't see it anymore. I thought to myself, nah, I'm seeing things. But then my brother-in-law said, did you see that? I asked him what he saw. I didn't want to say what I saw because I wanted to hear him explain it first. He had just seen exactly what I saw, and I said, I saw the same thing. That was strange. Has anyone ever seen something like that before? Answer is yes. Not that small, though. That's a little different. That's a little bit different.
Weird.
That is weird.
Kind of wish I'd seen that.
Yeah?
Yeah, because, I mean, of all the cryptid and weird things to see, it seems very passive, just runs away.
Yeah, I mean, that's a pretty good.
So
Pretty good.
that's pretty good.
Or just follows and watches. Like, what's it going to do now? Yeah, it seems like
I don't mind.
like curiosity, right?
Yeah.
I got to move that subscribe thing up.
You guys can study me. Do it.
That's a weird thing to put out there, dude. Hey, you guys
can
can
watch.
study me if you want.
You guys watch me while I'm asleep. Keep me safe.
Amen. Let me just move this up a little bit. Oops. No, not that far. There we go. Got to keep going. Where is it? Above there. There we go. Let's put it there. I just want to see how that looks. There it is. Subscribe is now on top. It's not covered up by your camera. Okay. All right. So that was some more Glimmer Man. Hope you guys enjoyed that. I wasn't watching the chat. Were you, Sheldon?
Yes.
Okay. Anything popping off about Glimmer Man?
Not a.
Huh?
Just cool story for the listeners, but nothing in particular. Oh, well, Rachel said maybe the Glimmer Man is an advanced dinosaur species from Earth that didn't have the asteroid smash.
Oh. You know, that's interesting being three-toed. You think of, like, you know, velociraptors or whatever, you know, that kind of thing.
I think of frogs.
Okay, frogs. Good call. Good call. Could be the Loveland Frog Man. You never know. But
Never know.
I don't know. I just think of like octopuses, how they are very clearly a part of our world, but they can just swim and become coral, or they can like cuttlefish can even mimic like checkered, black and white checkered patterns and look,
Yeah.
I mean, it looks distorted, but it's still the same thing. And you got to wonder what is the possibility of something like that? Like it's just mimicking, the pigments in its skin to look transparent, but it's not really. It's just seeing where you are and it's projecting that pigmentation towards you. So it looks transparent, but maybe it isn't. Or maybe it's a technology that mimics that. Or it bends light. I don't know.
Sounds like it, because otherwise the glimmer, like, isn't that it trying to bend the lights? That's why you see like a glimmering.
Well, they speak of it like a heat wave, like when you see, you're driving and you see off in the distance in the summer, like it looks like
Oh, yeah.
water, that shimmering.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's very reminiscent of that is why it has that Glimmer Man name.
Right. Rachel, well, Chucky Danger says first, Atlanteans and such regarded humans as things or automatons, so if they are related, they would not be afraid of humans.
Yeah, I suppose. I mean, it's anybody's guess. Like all of this stuff, we really don't know. I mean, we don't know what we're dealing with. And there's many people out there, that'll tell you, no, this is what these are. This is what Bigfoot is. This is what Dogman is. It's like, yeah, I appreciate that, that maybe you feel that way, but are you positive? I mean, how could you be sure? And I'm not casting aspersions at anybody. I'm really not. It's just me not able to, to take them at the word for it. I'd love to think that Sasquatch is this, amazingly wise and benevolent forest elder, that keeps balance in the natural world, and that's as a caretaker of sorts. I mean, that's a beautiful idea. I'd love that was the case, but I'm not willing to bet my life on it. It's just like, I've heard too many horror stories. I've heard too many terrible stories about how they react, but there's so many people that'll say, well, this is what they are. They're these wise, evolved beings. And it's like, yeah, well, why are they chucking rocks at campers then, and why are they, horrifying people and, acting extraordinarily aggressive, at least acting, and so that doesn't seem very evolved in a lot of ways. But again, this is just me thinking out loud. I respect everybody's opinion, and they could be absolutely right. I'm not saying I'm right or wrong. It's just these are the questions I have. Maybe it's not all of them that are wise. Maybe there's a bunch of really creepy ones. Like there's wise and wonderful people, and then there's some people that are absolutely horrifying. So maybe it's very similar to that. I don't know. But
So, two things. One, just to get it, I don't want to divert too much, but Rachel said, I typed in 1877 and found a website about historical strange news articles from the British newspaper archives. Wasn't it 1877 from the Ghost Radar set, or was it 1887?
1877, yep.
It was 77. Okay.
And then 1747 was the other date. Yep. So.
And then SoCal brought up a really good point. The spectrum that we can see is actually small. There's a whole bunch out there that we can't see. So maybe with these beings, we're only seeing what we can physically see.
Oh, that's a good point. Maybe they're somewhere in the ultraviolets or above, or or the infrared and below, as far as spectrums of light. And yeah, we wouldn't be able to perceive that because we don't have those nerves to react with that wavelength of light, or those optic nerves. Yeah. So I mean, sure. Or our retinas can't pick up those, and that's a great point. That's a really good take on it. Maybe they're not out of phase. Maybe they're just out of our spectrum of observation. Yeah. Same thing for sounds. I mean, sounds, we have a very limited range of sound as well. There's, of course, infrasound, and there's ultrasound, and that scale goes up and up and up. Infrasound, I don't know how low it goes, but I know that that people that have experienced infrasound, or they think it's infrasound, they call it getting zapped. Like they just feel horrible. They can't function. They can't keep their balance. It's like something with the inner ear and with their nervous system. It makes them feel like garbage for days. So, and infrasound is something that's well documented in the natural world because, like elephants, even some whales and tigers utilize an infrasound to confuse their prey. They just zap them with that, and they're just like kind of befuddled. So interesting stuff. There's no question. Yeah. But I did like this site. I've not come across it before. I'm going to leave it open on my computer because I want to look at some of the other offerings that they have, but I'm going to move it over a ways just to get it out the way. There we go. All right, so we're going to get to some cryptids here while we still have time. And we're going to go right to Sasquatch Chronicles. It's Australian for Squatch. It's Australian for Yowies. No, of course, Dean is over there doing the Yowie stuff. God bless it. Why is that so funny to you?
Just for your voice to go normal and then like less than a second later
yeah, I know.
Sound like garbage.
Well, thank you. That makes it so much more pleasant. Thank you.
It's entertaining. It's good.
You sick
it's good
bastard.
for the viewers,
Oh, wonderful. Yeah, thanks. I'm suddenly drinking a smoothie. It's great. Great. All right, so we're going to go to Sasquatch Chronicles now to take a visit about some Sasquatch. I think we really will only, what time is it? 33. We'll have time for a couple of these anyway.
Oh, God, that scared the gods out of me. Okay.
What happened?
My dog just walked in the room, and I just saw my door opening without anyone there. I'm like, oh my God, that scared me so bad.
Yeah, you might want to latch your door.
Oh man, I thought it was. Okay.
Okay, well, there you go. Maybe it was. Ooh. That's the scary part.
Oh man, the relief that came over me. Oh my God, the relief.
It's just my dog. Thank God. Yeah.
Oh my God.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. You just saw Sheldon poop himself publicly.
Yeah, we're good. We got that adrenaline now. We're good. Woo, we're good.
All right, good. I like the northern lights behind you, by the way.
I do too. I think it's a really nice background.
It's lovely. It's lovely. All right, let's get to the Sasquatch Chronicles, ladies and gentlemen. This is Wes's website, which is the home base for Sasquatch Chronicles podcast, where he posts all the links to his shows, as well as links to other articles and offerings, other podcasts like the Confessionals with Tony Merkel and of course Wes's own shows with From the Shadows. He posts a lot of there. From Bigfoot and Beyond, he posts those, and several others, and even the Paranormal Portal, which is awesome. Thank you, Wes, for cross-promoting what we're doing. I hope you continue to do so. Thank you. Love you, mean it. All right, let's get to the next, the first article from SasquatchChronicles.com. This is from the blog, and I like to showcase the emails that are sent to him. And I love that he posts those out because, honestly, and several of these he does make shows out of, but several of them he doesn't. So I do think that's awesome because everybody's experience is valid and can teach us something. So even though it may not be enough material for a show or just he doesn't have time because he gets so many, he does post them out there so that we can check them out and maybe learn something from what people have seen. So this one comes from February 29th. This is Black Figure Standing on the Trail. So let's check this one out. A listener writes, my sighting took place at a campground in Weld, Maine in the summer of 1997. I was 11 years old, so it was the summer before the ice storm of 98. My family had a seasonal campsite about an hour and a half from where we lived, so during the summers my parents would go to work and us kids would stay in the campground. Our campsite consisted of a camper from the 1970s and was just hanging on along with a shed and a deck. The site sat right at the beach and had a beautiful mountain views, and I remember having certain camp chores that I'd have to wake up and complete, and after that I'd have free range to go do whatever I wanted. So during the week, I would have complete freedom during the day, and on the weekends my parents were around, so I'd have less freedom.
Oh, Mom and Dad are home, damn it.
That morning, I remember wanting to go exploring on a trail that I'd seen close to nighttime the day before. At the time, I thought it was just a hiking trail leading to someplace cool, but hindsight, looking back, it was far too narrow to be a hiking trail and was probably most likely a game trail. I knew if I asked to go exploring on my own that day, there'd be no way my parents would let me. And I didn't want to wait until Monday to find out where it went, so I woke up early and told my parents that I was going to head to the campground bathrooms to take a shower. The bathrooms were about 1.5 miles away. Man, wow, you got to plan it out over there, huh?
Oh, my God.
You don't want the turtle head poking out over there. That's not comfortable. And I figured I'd have enough time to go explore and return to camp with wet hair from one of the many water hookups between exploring and returning to the campsite to cover my tracks. I took my bike and rode it to where I'd seen it the evening before. The trail itself started at the end of one of the campground roads that didn't connect to all the others, so essentially it was a dead-end dirt road. And my plan that morning was to take my bike down the trail, but upon getting there and seeing it up close, I realized that I was going to be way too narrow, windy, and bumpy for that, so I ditched the bike at the beginning of the trail and trailhead and started walking in. The trail had big roots sticking up here and there, and it zigzagged between trees in a really jerky fashion to the point that I had to keep my eyes down at the ground so I didn't trip. I walked maybe 1/4 mile in and came up to a big tree that I had to kind of hug as I walked around it to keep from falling into the ferns that looked like they were growing out of some shallow swampy water. Well, I got to the other side of the tree and the trail continued through this clearing, and the clearing was oval shaped and was devoid of trees but had ferns growing in it, about waist high on me. The trail zigzagged through the clearing, and I was looking down and was following the trail with my eyes through the clearing to see if I wanted to continue further. I remember thinking that if I returned to camp dirtier than I left, I'd be in trouble and would have to explain that I lied and went into the woods without telling anyone. Well, as I was thinking that, my gaze scanned the far side of the clearing, and I saw what looked like an elongated black figure standing in the trail roughly 5 or so feet from the tree line on the far side from the clearing. It was completely black, and the morning light was coming through the trees in such a way that I knew it was looking right at me, but I couldn't see its face. It's like the light was being absorbed by just how black it was. It stood so still that I started to think that maybe it was a weird tree stump or just a really realistic shadow that when it moved so quickly. It went from standing straight up to the ground so fast, I couldn't at first see where it went. I was too terrified to move. I was frozen staring at the spot where it just was, and it was gone. I was paralyzed with fear until I saw in the trees at about my 9 o'clock the thing going from tree to tree just outside of the light inside the tree line. It was making its way to me by going in a semicircle around the clearing. What jolted me to start moving was the realization that if I tried to go back the way I came and had to go around the big tree behind me, I would come face to face with it. Well, I broke into a full run right into the woods at my 3 o'clock, knowing that if I kept going that way, I would eventually come to the camp road, which was a long single-car lane dirt road. I ran and tripped and crawled all the way to that road, and the whole time, the thing was right behind me, never closing the distance between us, but always within eyeshot. When I made it to the road, it didn't stop running. I didn't stop running. I ran all the way back to the camper and must have made a story to get myself off the hook for being absolutely covered in mud and dirt, but honestly, I don't think at the time I really cared about being in trouble. I just knew that if I tried to tell my parents, there's no way they would have listened, so I've kept it mostly to myself throughout the years. The thing I'll never understand is that at any given time, it could have gotten me. It moves so fast, it could have come across the clearing before I would have been able to register it. But it never got closer than 100 feet from me. It never dawned on me that what I saw was a Sasquatch until I was an adult. As a kid, I thought it was a demon or some kind of monster. Wow. That's got to be a horrifying feeling.
I mean, that's the thing, though. If it wanted to get you, it would have gotten you.
Yeah. Yeah. It would have. I mean, and it could have very easily. Yeah.
I think it's kind of like herding, like pushing you in that direction. Go back. Get out of here. You know?
Right. Right. Yeah, I don't know. That's really weird. You know what's interesting? Rachel says, if polar bears have transparent fur shafts to look white, what structure is the hair of these creatures to look flat black? I don't know. I don't know, but the interesting thing about polar bears is they have those clear shafts. I mean, they're just clear, but the same is true for our aged hair. You know, when we get older, I mean, most of my hair is actually white. I just color it. I just dye it because I don't like the way it looks. But I mean, literally, if I didn't dye my hair, I'd look like Danny Phantom. You know, or if any of you are familiar with that cartoon.
I know. I wish you'd just keep it white. It looks cool, in my opinion.
I don't know. I just like it brown. It used to be brown, so
I'm keeping mine white because it is turning white. I even found some eyebrow hairs that are now turning white.
Yeah, I mean, I do the same thing to my whiskers as well because they're all white. So I'd be like Santa sitting here. But interestingly enough, with the polar bears, the hair is transparent or translucent, acts like funnels the light to the fur, but the skin is actually black on a polar bear, jet black, and how that doesn't show through is very interesting to me.
Wow.
But then again, if you have white hair, your skin, you can see through it to the scalp much easier because it's, letting more light through or reflecting light, as it were. But yeah, I don't know. I think, there may not be, I don't know what it's called, a medulla, the interior of the hair follicle. But I think that there's still pigmentation of some kind on the actual fur of the Sasquatch. Whereas with polar bears, it's just like basically these, almost like fiber optics. It just channels that light to the black skin, which warms the animal. But I think with Sasquatch, it may not have the medulla and act more prismatically, but I think there is a tone to that medulla. And maybe the skin underneath is oftentimes we hear dark gray. It's like a gray skin is very common on Bigfoot reports. It's not like they are Caucasian in any measure. They definitely have a darker skin. Sometimes it's more tan, like a dark tan leather. Other times it's, almost like somebody out of Africa. It's just very, very dark. So, and everything in between. But I think they have a lot of biodiversity, the Sasquatch do. So,
which is interesting because if they're covered in hair like that, what would be the point of having black skin to absorb reflect the sun?
No, it would absorb. It would absorb.
Absorb.
Yeah, but,
what would be to absorb it, I guess. Okay, no,
well, that might help them in half the year, but the other half of the year, you notice, generally speaking, they don't come out into direct sunlight a whole often. They may cross roads, but they're in the forests largely. They're under the cover, and up here. And Sheldon, you came up here and went mushroom hunting with us, yeah.
Yep.
You see that in some of the areas the forest gets really, really dark.
Yeah, it's actually shocking. Yeah.
Yeah, how much light gets blocked out, and it could be a middle of a summer day, and it seems like it's late afternoon. It's just a whole different world in the forests. And maybe that's the conifer trees that really block out a lot of that, versus deciduous trees or whatever. But still, it's an interesting point. So, yeah, my husband's does too. Jet black, natural hair, and grayish beard. Hairdresser told him to dye his beard too. Yes. Yep, I agree. I've actually been paying more attention to my beard this way. Wearing a hat. If I took off my hat, you'd see like there's brown here. And then there's a whole section, like a demarcation line of white to my scalp. It's just not pretty. I
I
mean,
can see it right now.
well, in your mind's eye, yeah. Not in the camera, though.
Yeah, a little bit in the camera.
What? Just on the sides?
Yep.
Yeah, that's basically how all my hair is.
Yeah.
Just that white. Can you see? There it is. Yeah. All right. I think Sasquatch change color as they age. Yeah, I think so too. You're right, SoCal. The little ones are almost always reported as black, and then the bigger they get, they get lighter. You know, it can still be like I've heard several different descriptions of adult-sized Bigfoots, from jet black to like almost orangutan red, and browns, and some have several different colors mixed in there. You know, there's a lot of different densities of hair on a Bigfoot as well. Like the arms and legs seem to be very robust with hair covering, but not as much on the chest. But maybe that's more seasonal. I don't know. It's not fur though, it's hair. So I don't know if that works the same way as like a winter coat on an animal, you know, but
Yeah.
then again, I don't know. Wonder what they would look like without hair. Have you ever seen a picture of a chimpanzee without hair? I'm going to pull it up because
It's scary.
it's absolutely, let's see, bald
They are monsters.
chimpanzee. You know, you hear stories. Yeah, here's a picture. You hear stories about how big and how strong chimpanzees are. And let's see, it should be on screen, I think. Unless I'm not on the shared screen right now. Let me look. But if you see the muscle that these things have, it's no joke. I mean, look at that. That's like bodybuilder. Look at the wrists. How wide those wrists are.
They are built.
Look at this guy. I mean, and it's a different kind of density of muscle that we have. And additionally, where you look at the shoulders, you think in a human anatomy, we have this real robust rib cage, but on the great apes, they have a very narrow rib cage up as it goes to the neck.
Yeah.
And then it widens out towards the bottom of the diaphragm. But everything on these things is just packed muscle. They are so freaking strong. And, you know, I mean, look at this one. This is a chimpanzee without hair. And you can just see that, you know, even this older one still looks ripped. I mean, just look at those muscles. There's such definition. It's like he's roided out, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, honestly. And the thing, you know, let's see what
Imagine
this
if
one.
humans had that density. Oh, God.
Yeah, I mean, it's just crazy to think about. You know, I did see something. It was a meme. So let me go to images here. That might help rather than this silly crap with links. But, I mean, some of these, just look at that, you know, those lats right there are just so strong. But remember, the rib cage is actually narrowing towards the way up its spine. And all of that is just densely packed muscle. So, you know, when they say that a chimpanzee could literally tear your arms off, that's no joke. I mean, they really are that strong.
Yeah.
Which, you know, you look at a muscle builder or whatever, you think, oh, yeah, he could probably whip a chimpanzee around.
No.
But no, these things will tear you up. And they're also very diabolical. Apparently, a troop of chimps attacked this guy that they were mad at for some reason. Oh, it was what it was is I heard about this on Joe Rogan. And the guy had a pet chimp and he had to surrender it because it got big. It got unmanageably big for him. So he brought it to a shelter. And then when it came time for the birthday for his chimp, he brought in a cake. But he didn't give any to the rest of the chimps, and the rest of the chimps were pissed.
Oh, yeah.
Like they didn't get any cake, but he gave this cake to his chimp. And apparently they figured they got a way out, and they attacked the guy. And what they did was they like bit off his fingers. They bit him in the junk, and they went after his face. When they attack, they go to absolutely disable. Like, you know, without fingers, what are you going to do with the stumps, you know? You can't grab on, you can't, you know, use a tool. You're just dealing with stumps. So I mean, they're absolutely vicious, you know, and that's terrifying. But if you look at these teeth, I mean, my God, look at those canines.
Yeah.
And, you know, they say that, you know, biting off a finger is much like biting a carrot. It's just in our minds we have that blocked, you know, don't bite your finger off like a carrot. But I just wanted to just show you the kind of muscle that these chimps have, and they're small. They're 3 or 4 feet tall. If you take this in gorilla form or even bigger, like 8 or 10 feet, that same kind of muscle density, possibly a similar physiology, and that raw power, and then twisted trees and stuff make sense. It's like, well, yeah, geez, there's a whole different ball game.
Yeah, even Maggie said chimps are 10 times stronger than us. How much stronger would a Sasquatch be?
Oh yeah, I mean you're literally talking like superhero kind of strength. Really.
Yeah.
It really is that much of a disparity between us and them. Now I think perhaps we're a lot stronger than we think we are. That
You can be.
Well, I was talking about this meme that I saw, and it said that actually an adult human male has enough strength to lift a car, but they just, have mental blocks to avoid doing that kind of damage. And people have displayed incredible strength that's well beyond, in panic situations when that adrenaline hits and they just do something that they shouldn't be able to do. So it does show that we're actually much stronger than we think we are, but we have these, mental blocks for whatever reason that's, inhibit our ability to push ourselves that hard.
Well, that's because if we push ourselves that hard, we rip our muscle apart.
Well, sure.
That's why.
But when you're lifting weights, you're actually tearing muscle tissue. It's micro damages, and that's why you get this more of a hypertrophy, because the body is healing those damages with more muscle tissue, and so, it's just much more. Like you could actually separate your bicep. We're strong enough to do that, to actually pull our biceps off of our, the radius or whatever.
Oh yeah, we absolutely could.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So, at any rate, I just wanted to show that because it's the Billy Ape 300 plus. What does that mean? Digger's talking about. Sheldon, you want to do some shout outs quick? I want to make sure to get shout outs in. I don't know how many are here right now, but I would like
time to chat.
Time to chat. If you want to shout out, say something in the chat. Because we got to acknowledge everybody that's here. Let's see. I want to see who's here. 52 of you are here, apparently. 59. I'm sorry, 59. Good. Glad you guys popped in. It looks like we're over 60 on my thing, though, but maybe it went down. Did we lose somebody? Yeah, we kind of go up and down, but we're about 59-ish now. Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Let's do shout-outs. Let's see who's here.
See who's here. All right, first off, we have Chucky Danger, Digger Dog, Elaine Clifford, John Labella, John Stevenson, John Temprine, Lucky Gypsy 13, Maggie M10, Manuel Annie, You're here, Rachel Gets It Right's here, SoCal Squatcher's here, and Wizardman 13 is here, and I'm here. I just haven't typed.
Well, there you go. And there's more people here than that, but that's the chatters.
And there's even more. That's right.
Yep.
That's right. We got our lovely people lurking in the dark. Hello. Welcome.
Welcome, all you lurkers.
Oh, Juno Tafoya. I haven't seen that name before.
Juno Tafoya. Hi, folks. Chiming in from Dulce, New Mexico. Wow. Oh, very cool. Very cool, Juno.
Welcome in.
Were you in before, Juno? We had someone else from Dulce here. Unless that was you. I'm sorry if that was you. That's great. It's good to see you again.
Might have been.
If you're new, it's great to see you for the first time. I just know I remember addressing that with somebody. That, Dulce, talking about the Phil Schneider stuff, of course. The rumored underground bases in Dulce that might include extraterrestrials in the form of grays on the deepest levels, but lots of weird experimentation apparently going on in Dulce.
We got more names. Barbara Mora.
Barbara
Hello.
Mora.
Welcome.
Good to see you, Barbara.
Hoggles Chambers.
Hoggle. There you are. Hoggles Chambers. Hoggle. I'm glad you're lurking. Thanks for being here. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here. I guess this is about as good a place to stop for now, right, Sheldon?
It is. Jeez, it is that time, I suppose. Holy
I know,
jeez.
it's gone quick, hasn't it?
Yeah, it really has.
I know. It's hard to get used to, folks, but I love lurkers when they come out to say hi. Yeah, I like it even if they don't. But I hear what you're saying, Lucky, and Lucky Gypsies also helping out over on Twitch, which is wonderful. I haven't looked over at Twitch to see what's going on there. Yeah, Lucky Gypsy. Hey, time got away from me. Oh, excuses. 10 demerits. That's okay, though. All right, so I guess that's about going to be the journey tonight. Yeah, I mean, we're literally right there. Knocking on the door to 9 p.m. Great show, Wizard Moon says. Thank you. Thank you very much. Time flies, an airplane crash. That's a little macabre, but okay, we'll go with it.
Very true.
It is true. Howdy, Jen Sarah, Chucky says. Jen and Sarah. I don't know who that is. Did you see a Jen or Sarah? Oh, Sarah Ramirez lurking. All right, Sarah. Great to see you. Great to see you. Obscured by clothes, Jen. Oh, there's Jen. Okay. Nice to see you as well. It's great to see all you guys. Thanks so much for coming in and being a part of the journey. As always, I will be back tomorrow night. I think Jimmy will be with me tomorrow, but we'll see. And if he can, that'll be wonderful. But if not, you'll be stuck with me. And I'll do my darndest to keep you entertained for 2 full hours tomorrow night as well, right here on the portal. But remember, if you like to represent the show and help support the show, you can become a channel member. You can donate on the link on the screen, or you can buy some Paranormal Portal gear by visiting the Teespring link that's in the description below. It goes a long way. All those will help us a ton. If you're unable to do that, and I completely understand, believe me, it's just like, especially in this economy lately, we're all just trying to get by. But there's lots of other ways to support the show, like liking the streams, like sharing the streams, to people that you know that you think might enjoy it. Those all go so far in helping us out. So, as much as, donations are great. So is when you guys like. So is when you come and just check out the streams and hang out with us. So in whatever way you can, it's all appreciated, and we love you all a lot. Sheldon, anything in closing?
Well, first we got to thank John LaBelle for the $5 donation. Thank you so much.
Thank you, John. Did you ever know that you're my hero? All right. Thank you, John. And then what, Sheldon?
Well, you see, we got this lovely Discord link here. You can go ahead and join the Discord community, join all the great discussions happening over there. Everything from Big Book, Dogman, Ghosts, UFO, extraterrestrial encounters, and cryptids, and more. So feel free to join the link below, join the community as well. And can't forget about the home base of the Paranormal Portal, paranormalportal.net. Go ahead. All the great links there, always staying up to date in the podcast, and feel free to even schedule your very own interview if you have an experience you want to share.
Yeah, there's a button on paranormalportal.net if you want to be a guest on the podcast. Click the interview me button, and that will make you, that will send me an email. If you pick a date and a time from the calendar app that opens up, it'll send me an email, and I'll connect with you on Zoom or on Skype or whatever way we can connect, and we'll have a discussion. And I'd love to have your experiences on the portal. So,
we got to thank SoCal Squatcher now too, $4.99.
Woo! Man, making it rain.
That's right.
Thank you so much, guys. That really is wonderful, especially now, because everything's way more expensive. So
these days, yes.
All right. I think that's going to wrap it up for us, guys. So thank you so much again. And again, I'll be back tomorrow night, maybe with Jimmy at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 10 p.m. Eastern, right here on YouTube and Twitch. We'll be streaming live, so I'd love to have you come back. But spread the word. Tomorrow's Bring a Friend night.
That's right.
So someday that's actually going to work, but I keep trying. Anyway, we'll keep trying. All right. Good night, everybody. Just remember, we love you all. Be good, be kind, be nice. Take care of each other. Help each other out. Find the magic in every day, and remember to laugh as much as you can. And I'll be back tomorrow to do it all over. So until then, sweet dreams.
Good night.